Hello students, today we are going to see the third phenomena what we have seen interference, we have seen diffraction, and today we are going to see the third phenomena of wave nature of light, and that is called the concept of polarization. Okay, now you might be knowing about Polaroids. Okay, there are high-end sunglasses which use this expensive Polaroids, okay, and it's very easy and comfortable to see the sky using the Polaroids, the sunglasses over there. Sunglasses, Polaroids are also used in many high-end vehicles also. The front windshield, they are also made up of Polaroids, okay. What do they do generally? So generally we use the Polaroids to polarize a light, okay. What is polarization? We will come to that part, but before I start, there is a concept for those who know the photography, those who don't know also, they might be knowing this concept called glare. Okay, so when you use these Polaroids, you reduce the glare, so your photography becomes good, your view becomes good on a bright sunny days. Okay, so what causes the glare? The glare is caused because of the electromagnetic wave, which is unpolarized light. Okay. Now this, when we say unpolarized light generally we know is electromagnetic wave, and this electromagnetic wave, as proposed by Maxwell, has an electric field and a magnetic field vibrating perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. Now the sensation of view, the sensation of vision is because of the electric field. Now if it has many electric fields in many directions, that creates a glare. So if we somehow can reduce this electric fields, if somehow we can restrict the movement of electric fields in certain direction and allow only in one particular direction, then we can reduce the glare. Okay, and by doing that we say that we have converted an unpolarized light to a polarized light. Okay, and there is a way of doing polarization. We are going to discuss altogether 3 ways. In today's class, we are going to see the concept of polarization using Polaroids. Now, what exactly is Polaroids? What do they do? All those things we are going to start in today's class. Okay. So let's start the class after this introduction. Okay. So as for the Maxwell theory says that, as per the Maxwell's theory, that light is a EM wave, electromagnetic wave. Now what exactly is electromagnetic wave? So suppose if I have this as the direction of propagation of wave, then it is an electromagnetic wave. So if I consider a wave here, this wave is electric field. These are electric field. Now if I consider that this electric field is vibrating in a plane which contains the board. Okay, so this electric field is vibrating on the board. Okay, it's on the board. Perpendicular to it, just imagine if you consider another plane perpendicular to it, like this plane. Okay, this plane. So in this plane, I cannot draw that properly. So let us consider this to be my y-axis, this to be my z-axis, and this to be my x-axis. So the light is propagating in the direction of x-axis at the velocity of light. In the y plane, y-x plane, you have electric field, and so in the z-x plane will have magnetic field. So this is magnetic field. So it is this electric field and magnetic field which the light carries, and because of that it is called electromagnetic wave. Magnetic field does not contribute towards the sensation of vision. It is the electric field which causes the sensation of vision. Now, what exactly is unpolarized light? Okay. So I'm just going to use this symbol, and I'm going to use this symbol very oftenly. So suppose if I consider that this dot indicates the direction or a ray moving inside. Okay, moving inside. So dot means inside. So if I consider a ray is traveling along this direction. Okay, and this ray which is traveling along this direction will have electric field perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So the direction of propagation is this. Okay, or you can say coming out of the board also. So if I consider the electric field should be vibrating in this direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. So let me draw that electric field over here. This is one electric field. I am not interested in magnetic field anymore. Unpolarized light means the electric fields are vibrating in many directions. So these are all electric field vibrations happening over here. Okay, and this light we called as unpolarized light. This light we called as unpolarized light. Okay. Then how are we going to polarize it? For that we need a Polaroid. But before that we need to end up with certain definitions. Okay. So some of the definitions are: so this is unpolarized light. So how does the polarized light mean? So suppose if I restrict all the other vibrations except this vibration, then we call this as polarized light. A polarized light has electric field vibration only in one direction. Okay. Now we have to discuss few things more over here before we end up to the actual theory of Polaroids. Some more definitions like plane of vibration and plane of polarization. So let us understand this. So suppose if I consider this to be the direction of propagation of wave, that's C. Okay. So if I consider this plane, and let us say that this light has become polarized, and this polarized light is having a vibration in this direction, then this plane in which the vibration is taking place is called plane of vibration. Is called plane of vibration. And a perpendicular, just think of this way, this one, a perpendicular line, perpendicular to this, where there is no polarization, where there is no vibration, is called plane of vibration. So I make it very, I'll try to explain it again. Okay, this is fantastic. So just imagine you have this situation. So this is how the propagation is going on in the forward direction. Okay, the marker is the direction of propagation of wave, and if the vibration is taking place in this plane, then this one, the white page, this one is called the plane of vibration, and a plane perpendicular to it is called plane of polarization, where there is no vibration. Okay. Hope that is clear to you. Now, how light can be polarized is the next topic, and as I told you, light can be polarized in three manners, in which in today's class we are going to discuss only one way, and in the next lecture we are going to discuss two more ways. Okay. So let us start with the concept of how light can be polarized. Light can be polarized using the first example. Remember, we have two more in the next class. The first one is using Polaroids. Okay, don't worry about the spelling. Some book says ZED, some book says SED. So it's up to you. In your textbook it is SED, so you use that, no issue. Using Polaroids. Now what exactly is Polaroids? Okay, so Polaroids are generally it can be in the form of a crystal, like we have tourmaline crystal. Or you can again make another crystal like Herphatite. Okay, it's called Herphatite. Okay. So Herphatite is nothing but books. I am very weak in chemistry. I'm so sorry. It says idosulfate of quinine. Okay. Now forget about all these things. We will come to the physics part of this. Now, what does this material does? Okay, this materials. So suppose what you have to do. If it's a crystal, no problem. Herphatite is generally a thin film. So if you take a thin film over here, let us say this is a thin film over here of Herphatite. Okay. And there are ultramicroscopic crystals arranged in a sheet. So, and now place your glass and place here also glass. So the sheet becomes a sandwich between two glass, and that entire thing is now called polarized light. Okay, sorry, the entire thing is now called Polaroids. Okay, now what does this Polaroid do? Or what is this the good thing about this crystal? They have something called pass axis. They are known for their pass axis, or they are called polarizing direction, or polarizing direction. Now let us try to understand this. So how do we represent? So suppose if I represent a Polaroid like this. This is my Polaroid. You can draw a circular also. You draw a dotted line over here, or you can draw a solid line. Now every crystal of tourmaline or apatite has a pass axis. This is called as pass axis or polarizing direction. And these crystals are very good absorber. Okay, so they absorb light, and they also allow some light to pass. Now what happens is this. So when an unpolarized light, I'm just drawing three vibrations over here, passes through a crystal, either this or this, then it only allows the vibrations which is parallel to the pass axis. So if I consider this one over here is parallel to the pass axis, so it will allow this one to pass through. Also, what about this things? The other one. For the other one, this is my pass axis, this is the vibration. The component of this will be allowed to pass, the one which is parallel to the pass axis. So if I consider this angle as theta, so and if I consider this to be electric field E, so the E cos theta will pass, but E sin theta will be filtered out. Okay, so this will pass and this one will be filtered out. So ultimately what happens, whatever light passes through it, those lights will be able to pass, or those electric field vibrations will be allowed to pass, which has a component in the direction of pass axis, or which are already aligned in the direction of pass axis. The one which is perpendicular, or the component of electric field which is perpendicular to the pass axis, they are not allowed to pass through it, they are absorbed by the crystal. Okay, so the light which is coming out of this polarizer is called polarized light. This is what a Polaroid does. Okay, it filters the electric field. It only allows the vibrations parallel to the pass axis or polarizing direction. Okay, now based on this, what are the types of questions do they ask? Based on this, they ask questions like, and these are all theoretical questions. These are all theoretical questions like, so you have a polarized light and you have an unpolarized light. Now what are the questions they ask? They ask the first question like this. Consider this question now. How do you identify whether the light is polarized or unpolarized? Okay, using only one Polaroid. Using only one Polaroid. So what are the cases now? Look at them. This is very interesting one. If it is unpolarized, that means it will have vibrations in all directions. Okay, even in this direction also it will have vibration. Now, if it is allowed to pass through a Polaroid, then only this vibration will come out, which is parallel to the pass axis. As far as intensity is concerned, this is very, very important, not only for this question. In general, you should know this. If I naught is the intensity of unpolarized light, when it passes through a Polaroid, intensity becomes half right away. Keep this logic in your mind. Whenever an unpolarized light of intensity I naught passes through a Polaroid, right away the intensity becomes half. Okay, so I naught by 2. Now, if you rotate this Polaroid, let us say if we are rotating this Polaroid, okay, allow me to use this disc, okay. So consider that this is the path axis of the Polaroid. Now initially the light, so this is right now it is pointing in this direction, the path axis. So this has passed. Now if you slightly rotate, that means the path axis which was here earlier, you are rotating it like this. So if you rotate the Polaroid, your path axis rotates. So only this vibration will be allowed to come out, because unpolarized light has vibrations in all directions. Okay. So even if you rotate like this, again so you will find some light coming out. Even if you rotate like this, again even if you rotate like this, again you will find the lights coming out. Even if you rotate like this, you will find the light coming out. Even if you rotate like this, you rotate anyway, you will always find light coming out, because it's unpolarized. It has vibrations in all directions. So all the components will definitely come out. Okay. So if it is unpolarized light, I am coming to the answer to this. If it is unpolarized light, then when it passes through the Polaroid, the intensity does not change. When it passes through the Polaroid, the intensity becomes I naught by 2. Once it becomes I naught by 2, now if you keep rotating this, intensity remains as I naught by 2. It is not going to change. Okay. So after passing through the Polaroid, the intensity becomes half, and it is not going to change when you rotate the Polaroid. And if that thing happens, it is an unpolarized light. Okay. What if it is polarized? If it is polarized, the light which you are using, if it is already polarized by someone, okay. Now let us say this is already polarized, and this is the direction of light. It's moving in this direction, and now you are placing a polarizer like this. So if it is parallel, right away this component will come. Correct? So if I consider this to be having an intensity of, let us say, what we want to take? Let us say I dash. Okay. So this remains as I dash. Or if you want to take I naught, this remains as I naught. Okay. So if the intensity of this polarized light is I naught, then this will be also I naught. If it is I1, I1, I2, I2, I dash, I dash. Now if you rotate this, now let us say that this is my path axis and this is my vibration. Okay. Now suppose if you rotate it, so now as the light goes, this component, look at here. Earlier it was going like this. Now if you rotate the polarizer, when it comes over here, okay, the component which is parallel to the path axis will pass. The component which is perpendicular to the polarizer will be blocked. Okay. So again I am telling you, so this was like this. So if you rotate, component will pass. So, and if component is passing, obviously the intensity will become less. So if you rotate this as I dash, and let us say you have rotated the and if you have rotated it, then this was the direction of vibration. Okay, so this angle is, let us say, theta. So the component will pass, and once the component will pass, it will pass like this, parallel to the path axis. And let us say that this intensity is I double dash, and naturally what is happening to this I double dash? This I double dash intensity will be less than I dash. Okay. Now what will happen if you rotate perpendicular? So this is the vibration and this was the path axis. Now what will happen if you if the path axis becomes perpendicular to the plane of vibration? If it becomes perpendicular, we know that cos 90 is 0. So if it becomes perpendicular, it will completely block. This becomes 90 degrees. So completely blocks, that is no light. That means intensity will become 0. So I can write I triple dash is equal to 0, no light. Okay. Now what will happen if you rotate it further? Again some light will start coming out. So in one complete rotation of the Polaroid, okay, in one complete rotation of the Polaroid, look at here very carefully. So this is 0. So from 0 to 90, okay, look at here. This is 0. Okay, right now this is 0. So entire thing will pass. And now if you start rotating, component will start passing. So the intensity starts decreasing, and here it becomes completely zero. Then the intensity again starts increasing, and here it becomes again maximum. So from 0 to 90, intensity decreases from maximum to 0. From 90 to 180, it increases from 0 to maximum. From 180 to 270, again decreases from maximum to 0. And from 270 to 360, it again becomes 0 to maximum. Okay, this is what happens when you rotate. So to sum up, when you rotate a polarizer, if the output light, when you rotate the polarizer, if the intensity changes and attains maximum output twice and minimum output 0 twice in one full rotation, that means that light was, the first light, incident light was polarized. Okay, so if it is unpolarized, the intensity right away becomes half, and after that when you rotate, does not change, but here intensity keeps on changing from 0 to maximum, maximum to 0, 0 to maximum, and so on. So in that case it is polarized light. Okay, what is the other question they asked over here? The other question which they asked here is this. It's a small experimental setup using two Polaroids, and they will ask you what do you see when the second light is, when the second Polaroid is rotated. So in this experiment, basically this experiment is to prove transverse nature of light. This is very interesting part. This is generally asked for 1 mark in briefly answer that question. Can polarization takes place for longitudinal wave like sound wave? Answer is no. Polarization is only for transverse wave like electromagnetic wave, not for longitudinal wave like sound wave. Interference, diffractions, all this can be possible for any wave, whether it is a sound wave or light wave, anything. But polarization is the only phenomena which is exhibited by transverse wave, not by longitudinal wave. So in this experiment, basically we try to prove that the light wave is transverse nature of light. The light has a transverse wave nature, that is electromagnetic wave, electric field and magnetic field oscillating perpendicular to direction of propagation of wave. So in this experiment, what do we do? I will just give you a glimpse and then you can make your own stories. So suppose this is my unpolarized light, let us say the intensity is I0, and this is my first polarizer, Polaroid, and this one is called polarizer. The first Polaroid is called polarizer. What this will do, it will right away make the intensity half, and its variation will be parallel to the path axis. So this intensity right away becomes half. Okay. The second one is a Polaroid again, but this is called analyzer. So when this passes through, right now if it is parallel, same thing will come out. I0 by 2. But what will happen if you start rotating? Same story which I just told you, correct? When you start rotating, intensity will start decreasing. So let me rotate this. So this is the first diagram. So let us say I am going to rotate this. So if I rotate this by a small angle, such that the angle becomes theta, then the output will have an intensity I. If this angle has become theta, the output will have an intensity of I, which will be equal to the light falling here is I0 by 2. So you will write here as I0 by 2, and then you will write cos square theta. This is the formula due to which the intensity starts changing. I will come to this formula just after I complete this part, but here you can just write that intensity starts decreasing. And when it will become 0? When it becomes 90 degrees. So if this is my polarizer, analyzer, then you start rotating angle theta, and now you make it perpendicular. When you make it perpendicular, what will be the output? Output will be 0, correct? And then when you start rotating beyond 90, again you will get some output. Here you will get maximum output. Then you rotate again. When it becomes 270, again completely blocked, 0. Then again it starts increasing, and again it becomes I0 by 2. So here it is I0 by 2, 0, I0 by 2, 0. Correct? And in between it will start from if it is maximum, it will go from maximum to 0. If it is 0, it will go from 0 to maximum, and then again from maximum to 0, and then again 0 to maximum. So that proves that the light is electromagnetic wave is a transverse nature because it is filtering out the perpendicular components. Okay, this would not have been possible if you would have taken a longitudinal wave, because longitudinal wave has a vibration only in the direction of propagation of wave. Okay, so nothing is there perpendicularly to get filtered out. So this is the experiment which proves this. Obviously, we will get attached notes with this class. Refer to that. So this is the experiment which we use using a polarizer and an analyzer. There is no role as such of polarizer, but there is a role of analyzer. This is the one which we rotate to get the output variation in the to get the variation in the intensity of light when the light comes out through the analyzer. Okay. Now moving ahead, we are going to discuss this one, and that one is called by a scientist called Malus, and it is named after it, and it is called Malus law. And this you have to understand very, very clearly. Malus law, first thing, this law, if we have understood this, then we will understand the numericals. This law is applicable for a polarized light, passing through a polaroid. Okay, passing through a polaroid. What does it law says? So the first thing, the light has to be polarized. It is not applicable for unpolarized light. So if I consider that this is my light which is polarized and has an intensity of I naught, and if I have kept a polarizer such that the pass axis makes an angle of theta with the vibration, this is vibration, and this is my pass axis which makes an angle theta, then the output I will be given by I naught, the light which falls on the polarizer. What is I naught? The intensity of polarized light which falls on the polarizer. And what is I? I is the output light. I naught cos square theta. Correct? This law, this formula is called Malus law. This law is called Malus law. Okay? How does the graph of this look like? If they ask you to plot graph, so if I consider this to be my intensity, and this is theta, and the variation is cos square function. Cos square function looks like this. Okay, this is 0, so this has to be 90 degree. This is 0 degree. This is 180 degree, and this is 270 degree, and so on. This is 360 degree. Okay, and this is your I naught. The peak value is I naught. Okay, so that's the graph corresponding to Malus law. And you can see here in one full rotation, if you start from here, it attains maximum twice. Forget the 0 part, because that's the starting point. So if you rotate at 180 first maximum, and then when it comes back to the same position twice, and it attains minimum also twice in one full rotation. Here I would like to highlight some more things. Now just imagine over here, giving reference to the previous question. In the previous question, if you use two polarizer, understand this very carefully. This is where the entire trick lies. If you have used the unpolarized light, this is very important. And if they say that the unpolarized light is I naught, then when it passes through this, the first thing it happens is it right away becomes half. And now let us say I am using another polarizer such that it makes an angle of theta. Now Malus law is not here. Malus law is here. So now what is the light which is falling on the polarizer? The light has an intensity of I naught by 2 which is falling on the polarizer, and let us say the output is I. So now the Malus law will be same, but with a small modification, that will be your I naught by 2, because the light falling here is I naught by 2, and then we will write cos square theta. Okay? We will discuss some numericals based on this in one of the class, but remember you have to understand this particular concept very clearly. In Malus law, this is the intensity of light. Remember, this is the intensity of light. This is the intensity of polarized light falling on, or this is the intensity of polarized. This is the intensity of polarized incident light. Polarized incident light on a polarizer. Okay, and when it comes out from the polarizer, it will have a I, intensity as I, and that is this formula. So make this very, very clear in your mind. So with this, I end my first lecture of polarization. We will meet in the next class with some more theory and few numericals to it. Thank you for watching.